Now my losers for week 7. The San Francisco 49ers, they're 3-4 right now. They just lost Brandon Ayuk for the rest of the season to a torn ACL. It's really tough. Brock Purdy has been struggling already with the weapons he's has right now. No CMC. Deebo Samuel's dealing with the illness. Kittle's been banged up. Ricky Pearsall is their healthiest receiver, and he got shot 2 months ago. Fucking crazy. But yeah, Brock Purdy's been struggling with the accuracy, with the timing, just making a lot of errors. Had 3 interceptions against the Chiefs. It's hard when you don't have all your weapons out there, but if he's an elite quarterback, he's got to make shit happen when there's nothing. Really hasn't been doing that. He's been struggling this season. The 49ers, they're in a bad spot. If you don't win your division in the NFC, you're not making the playoffs. I can guarantee you that. So the Seahawks, they're 4-3 right now. They're, just had a good victory against the Falcons. The Rams, they're shopping Cooper Kupp. So the 49ers, unless they make a trade for Cooper Kupp, they get Cooper Kupp, which I doubt the Rams would do that. Unless they get Cortland Sutton, they need to make some kind of move. Because without Brandon Ayuk, he's one of the big reasons why that offense is so fucking good. Because he's that reliable, consistent receiver, that threat. Brock Purdy, his go-to guy, he can get the ball to him. Deebo Samuel, Kittle, those guys are nice. But when you don't have that dominant outside receiver, the offense is going to look how it's been looking. Kyle Shanahan, the play calling really has been, struggling. This offense has looked like not the 49ers we know. So CMC, who knows when he's going to get back. Think the 49ers definitely need to make a move to compete. Doesn't help that their defense is all banged up too. But right now, if they lose another game, they get further out. They, 5-6 losses. You might want to start thinking when it gets to the deadline, should we just get rid of some of these older contracts? Should we, look towards next season, make some moves to help position ourselves to compete next year? Should we even bring back CMC if things start getting out of hand? CMC right now is really the only player that could save this team and help this offense. He comes back, but there's a lot of uncertainty with that. Like I said, if you lose a couple more games, maybe you look towards next season. You get rid of some of these hard contracts that are on the cap, free up some space, move some guys at the deadline. Because you got some other guys you got to pay this next offseason as well. So, I don't know. The 49ers are in a bad spot. Right now, if I had to bet, I think the Seahawks win that division. So, losing against the Chiefs, a team you could never beat. Got the Cowboys this week. That's a game that could, help you get back on the right track. But both teams are struggling, Cowboys and the 49ers. Just going to be interesting to see how these next couple weeks play out for the 49ers. If they don't get things going and win this division, they're not making the fucking playoffs. So a tough year for the 49ers could get even tougher down the road these next couple weeks. Every week, I feel like the Cleveland Browns are the biggest loser of that week. Deshaun Watson, he went down with the torn Achilles, gave fans exactly what they've been asking for in Cleveland, and they were very happy and ecstatic about seeing him get on that card, even though he was crying and shit, all this stuff. It's a bad moment for a sports fan to be happy about something like that, but with all the stuff that was going on with him on the outside, you can understand why they're happy, but it's just a situation that's never a good look, regardless. So I see the frustration with the players and what they were talking about, but this team has been bad all around. Everything about this team. But Jameis Winston's coming in. Excited about that. Excited to see him get going. I feel like the offense is going to be a lot better now moving forward. Cedric Tillman had a good week last week. Hopefully he can be a guy that you can look forward to for the last couple weeks of this season and into next year to take that next step. Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, hopefully those guys get going. David Njoku had his best week last week. Hopefully he could keep going. Nick Chubb, excited about him being back on this Browns team. The Cleveland Browns have some players they could get rid of to get more draft capital for next year to position themselves in great position to maybe find their future franchise quarterback. Zadarius Smith, this is a guy that will garnish a lot of trade interest. Shelby Harris, Dalvin Tomlinson, they got some guys up front. The guys that I would keep, and I wouldn't negotiate any trade talks for them, Nick Chubb, I think this is a guy that embodies your franchise. This is a guy that people would be mad as fuck if you got rid of. He is the Cleveland Browns. He is a Cleveland Brown staple. Wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't trade Grant Delpit. I wouldn't trade Jock, the linebacker. Really fucking good. Really young too. Playmaker. Denzel Ward, I wouldn't trade him. If I'm the Cleveland Browns GM, I'd probably keep Myles Garrett, but you would get a lot for him. The return would be great for him, and it could make up, what you got to do with Deshaun Watson. You might have to attach a pick to get rid of Deshaun Watson and get him off your books. Whatever you got to do with Deshaun Watson might take a lot. So maybe you might want to trade Myles Garrett. I would lean on the side of keeping him though, but the return would be great for him. Denzel Ward, I would keep him. Martin Emerson Jr. Wouldn't get rid of Greg Newsome. Really like some. They have a lot of young talent on this team. I'd get rid of the older offensive linemen. Wyatt Teller, number 75, get rid of him. And Njoku could be involved in some talks. The return could be great for him. So I'd make some moves, reshape this roster, get rid of guys that are going to cost a lot on this cap. Because the cap space is not looking good for the Cleveland Browns. They need to make some moves. Because you might have, like I said, you might have to take on some cap for Deshaun Watson. You probably are going to have to take on some cap to get rid of him. So it could be really interesting for the Cleveland Browns in next offseason. But right now, they have some moves to make before the trade deadline that I want to see. Njoku to the Colts would be really nice. I think the Colts need a really good tight end. Njoku, send him over there with Anthony Richardson and that offense with Shane Steichen. I think that would be pretty scary. The New York Giants, they're another loser. Of course, Daniel Jones, they're finding out he's not that guy. It only took them so long. They're potentially looking to maybe, start Drew Lock at some point. Next couple weeks, maybe this week, who knows? But Daniel Jones, yeah, he's not the answer for this team. Brian Dable, I really like some of the pieces they have. Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors. They have some pieces on this team that I really like. So Dable, I think that's the coach for the future. They should lean with him. Defensively, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Aziz, they might, trade him. He could be an option because he's really, not getting too much in the rotation because you have Brian Burns, because you have Kayvon. You have a lot of guys already on the defensive line that you're paying, so they're probably going to they're getting more looks in the rotation. So the Giants could be a team that is sellers at the deadline. Definitely need to prepare for getting their franchise guy, but I do like some of the pieces on this team. There's a lot to be excited for with this team, but right now, this season, it's wrapped up for them. The Jets, they're starting the year off 2-5. Davante Adams has given big speeches already, one game in on this team. But, hey, if it helps them get where they need to go, this is what's needed. Davante Adams calling people out. Breece Hall, having a big run. Nobody celebrating it. 60-yard run. Nobody, cheering or nothing. There is a lot of shit in that locker room and in that organization that needs to be called out. And if Davante Adams is the one to do it, so be it. This team has too much fucking talent to be 2-5. Even with bad coaching. You got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers, terrible leader. But Davante Adams, I guess, he's a great leader. So he's stepping up with that. So you have too much talent for this team to look this bad. Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, Lazard, Breece Hall. The offensive line is a little better. The offense should not be looking how it's looking. They fired Robert Saleh, and the defense looks like it's taking a step back. Giving up 37 points to the Steelers, that's not the performance you want to see from your team. So that's definitely not encouraging. Robert Saleh, him gone. It's forcing the new head coach, the former defensive coordinator, to take on too many roles. Don't know if he's, doing a good job taking full control of things. The offense still looks bad. So I still have hope for this team. Hassan Reddick, he's coming back. He's finally in the building. He, agreed to a deal with the Jets. He was in the building practicing, Wednesday. So he's finally back. That should help this defense play a lot better. Will McDonald's been great all season. He's one of the top pass rushers in sacks in the first 7 weeks of this season. He's doing great. I think he has 7 or 8 sacks right now. Add Hassan Reddick, a guy that's a double-digit sack guy regardless of what team he's playing on. Huge impact pass rusher. That should be really exciting. The defense should step it up. Secondary is getting healthier. With all this talent still on this roster, they can make a run. 2-5, they're not out of it by any means because the wild card is wide open. So I still have hope for this team. I think they pick it up. Davante Adams, another week with him, adjusting to, the playbooks, adjusting to this offense. I think they could get on. I think they could go on a run and they could still make the playoffs as the 7th best team and as a 7th wild card spot. I could see it happening. So I'm not concerned. I'm not hitting full panic mode. This season is over for them yet because of how wide open the AFC wildcard is and because of the talent. So don't give up on the Jets just yet. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.